think I'm going to try to get a light going here. Do I look better? Yeah?
You look
Good
great.
morning.
Yep.
We're
Good
live,
morning.
and I'm out here
All
doing
right.
lights and all this other stuff, and here we are live on camera. Good morning, Rebecca.
Perfect.
You're in a
Good
totally
morning.
different city this morning than I am.
I am sitting
What
in Omaha this morning,
are you doing in Omaha?
visiting the family.
We spent the weekend with the two of our four grandchildren. It
Got to
was a
hang
lot of
out with
fun.
them and a couple nieces, and
Yeah, that was
it was a
fun.
good weekend.
It was. It was a really good weekend. And now here we are, Monday Mindshift. I know, Rebecca, while we're getting this fired off, maybe we should just remind everybody why we do Monday Mindshift. And before we do that, though, happy Veterans Day. I think it is Veterans Day, right? I didn't get that wrong.
It is Veterans Day.
Okay, so happy Veterans Day to all of our veterans out there. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for what you have done so that we get to do what we get to do. And
Yep.
thank you so much for that. There really isn't a way for us to say thank you enough in that scenario. But we greatly, greatly appreciate the freedom that we have and those that have fought really hard for that. So, first of all, thank you for that. Secondly, I do want to talk about just briefly why we do Monday Mind Shift. This is something that Rebecca and I thought about a long time ago on, how do we serve our community when Mondays can be so hard for people. And sometimes Mondays, especially if you don't have a good boss to work with, if you're struggling with anxiety about getting things done, getting on to the next task, Mondays can be very daunting and overwhelming. And one of the things that we really wanted to do is bring an approach to your Monday that might be able to help you just move to a different space. Move into a space where you can shift how you see Monday. You can shift how you see the week ahead of you and start to really embrace the possibility of your potential moving into this week. So that's really why we do Monday Mind Shift. Becky, you have anything you want to add to that?
No, that's a lot of it, is just changing our thinking, changing how we see things. Um, One of the big things that I have learned is I can't control the people around me, but I can control me.
Mm-hmm.
So whether you may not have a good boss, you may not have a good manager, or you may not be at the job you want, but how you look at that and how you see that every day is going to determine how your day's going to be, and you get to
Yep.
choose whether you have a good day or a bad day.
Yep. Absolutely. And that kind of leads us to the topic that we have for today. I think you chose a pretty amazing topic, Rebecca. This is actually stage 2 of our personal growth plan.
Yep. This is stage 2 of our 6 steps to development. And this is the commitment part. Last week we talked about awareness, becoming aware of, there's probably things in our life that we need to do differently all the time, every day, not just thinking, but um maybe our morning routine is not as efficient or as effective as it needs to be. So becoming aware of what it is that we want to do differently. And now stage 2 is the commitment, making the commitment to do that.
Yeah, and commitment is something that we should never take lightly. Commitment is something that requires us to put ourselves all in and say we're burning the boats. You've heard that story before. If you've gone through Think and Grow Rich, it's a story of the military team who showed up on a foreign shore. They get to the shore, they jump out of the boats, and then they burn their boats because the only way to get back home, the only way to get back to their homeland is to either win or die. They're not gonna. I mean, that's it. They're either gonna win or they're gonna die, and they're gonna die trying to win. That's really what they're saying is burn the boats. You're showing up here. We're gonna burn the boats. We're gonna go and move forward. That's what commitment is. When you decide that you're going to step out on a personal growth journey, that you want to say, okay, I'm tired of being who I am and I want to be something more. I want to live my full potential. I want to draw my potential out. That's that's the personal growth journey. Making the decision that you're going to draw your greatest potential out of you. And that's really what we're talking about here. It's the 6 steps of personal growth, 6 steps to success. The interesting thing is, though, Rebecca, that I've found in these 6 steps as we implement them in our own lives, the thing that I've found is they really work everywhere. If you're trying to build a team, if you're trying to build a new program, if you're trying to build a business, these 6 steps, they work absolutely everywhere.
Right.
So you must have some distractions going on this morning. People messaging you already?
Sorry. Well, we had to change the link up to get on the Zoom call, and
Yep.
I was afraid that a couple people didn't have it. So
Yep.
sorry, I'm back. Yeah, changing the way and making that um when you make the commitment to make those changes, it's got to be a priority. It's got to be it's got to be, there for a while when you first get started. It's got to be a conscious effort every day. I mean, sometimes you even have to write it down to remind yourself, but it is taking that next step to doing that.
Yep. Well, it's when you're in these 6 steps, you're always going to be in some phase of these steps if you're growing. And that's what I've learned. That's why we put these 6 steps together to simply raise our awareness that they exist. And once we know they actually exist, we get to do something about it. And this second step, commitment, is a stage that just naturally happens. But now that we're aware of it, we can take a more aggressive step. We can be stronger in it. We can know it. We can write down what we are committed to specifically, which is one of the problems that a lot of people have when they go out to pursue something of greatness. They forget to write down what they're committed to. And that's one of the things that even myself, as we're going through helping some new clients, dear, as we've got some new clients, some pretty big clients here that we're working with. And what's really powerful about that is writing down, and in this case putting it into a software program, a project management system, where we're actually documenting what it is that we have to get done, the commitments that we're making to them and to each other. And once we make those commitments, then we have to move on to the next phase, which is the learning phase. But you can't get to the learning phase unless you are willing to make the commitment, at least in my opinion. Otherwise, we'll skip the commitment phase, we'll get to the learning phase, but we're not committed to the right things for the right reasons. And that's why commitment is so, so critical.
Well, I know, and I know there's even some little things in my life that I want to make, that I'm aware of, that I need to change and fix. And it's if I don't make that commitment, if I don't remind myself, it's like 4 or 5 days later, it's like, oh yeah, I was gonna do that. Oh yeah, I was gonna eat right this week. Sorry. Oh yeah, I was gonna. So not having a plan, I'm a planner, so not having a plan available. Sorry.
So so your plan, what's the
Yeah.
problem?
Not having, yeah, not having a plan to uh to make those commitments. It really messes it. And so bringing up the eating healthier part, if I don't make a plan out for my meals, then we either just go grab something, or the whole age-old excuse, I don't have anything thought out. So not having that plan really deters where I'm going with it.
So in this
So,
case, our plan is actually the 6 steps, but this is the commitment phase of the plan,
yeah,
right? And it's the making a commitment that you're going to follow it, that you're going to commit to it, that you're going to do the actual work that you have to do to get the results you actually want, right?
right.
And that's the big part of it. And we can't make light of this step because a lot of people would say, "Oh, well, yeah, I'm committed. I'm committed." Well, what does that mean to you? Because all too often we go from awareness to learning without really making that commitment. And that is part of the reason, let's be honest, just with you and I, dear, when it comes to eating, we haven't really made a commitment, right? We're aware. We've even done some learning. We've implemented a few things here and there. But honestly, have we sat down and really made a commitment? That's a
No,
difference, right? That's a totally different area. And when you really sit down and make that commitment, that's when things will start to change. That's when things start to grow. That's when things start to improve. And it's that commitment, it's a mindset, it's a mind shift. That is such an important part of this whole process.
yeah,
So
yeah,
we just cannot take it lightly, even though it is so easy to think we're committed when we're actually not.
yeah,
So we see this in
yep.
salespeople, we see it in entrepreneurs, we see it in new businesses, we see it in a lot of different spaces where we'll take a course, we'll study this, we'll study that, but we haven't gone through the commitment phase to even get to the learning phase, and that's part of the struggles that we see in business today.
Well, and we do, we see we talk with a lot of our clients and stuff, and we set goals. We set goals, but you have to make that commitment to do. And I call it the hard work because it isn't easy, but you have to make that commitment to do that work to get
That's
to
right.
that goal, or it's going to be very hard to achieve it.
Yep, absolutely it
It's
is.
not unachievable. It's just going to make it a lot more difficult.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. When I was walking last night, which by the way is something I have committed to, is to walking every single day, and I've been really good about that. So it's one of those things that I'm enjoying so much, is to be able to go out, put my AirPods in, listen to a podcast or a part of a book. And one of the things that I'm learning through that is some things about me. And as I listen to a podcast, I may listen to 10 or 15 minutes, and I'm trying to walk an hour and 15. And for 10 or 15 minutes, I'll listen to something and then I'll stop and just take out the AirPods, put them away, and just reflect on what I heard and ask myself questions as I'm walking about how I feel about myself in that position. What am I learning? And as I'm reflecting, I'm making those commitments to myself. I'm learning how to make small little commitments to myself. And those little commitments that I'm making are the commitments that are going to give great big returns later on. And that's one of the things that I've really enjoyed about getting out this fall and investing that time in my own health and my own success path, being able to just do that one little thing. And I tell you what, it's been very eye opening for me to be able to learn from that process. So,
Yep.
and that
Yep.
to me is part of a commitment. So, all right, very good. Well, Rebecca, another thing that I would challenge us to on commitment, when we think about writing it down and we think about setting goals. I read an article the other day that said 90, I think it was 96%, it's either 94, I think 94%, so it's like 6% of goals actually get achieved. 94% of all goals that are ever set are not achieved. And as I was reading that article and I was going through that, I asked the question, why? Why is it that we set goals and then we don't achieve them? Well, one of the things is I truly, truly believe we haven't set our commitments, and those commitments to daily activity, the commitments to doing the daily work that is necessary to achieve an actual goal. And then you have to ask the question, is the goal even the right goal to have? Am I really sold out on the goal? Am I really sold out on what I'm wanting to achieve? And that's one of the things we have to look at is why is it that we're setting goals, but so many goals across the globe, so many people don't hit their goals. Part of it is I truly believe they're not committed. And I think that's part of the problem.
Well, and that's, one of my favorite trainings is that history of our future.
Mm-hmm.
And what that does is, where do you see yourself in 10 years? Okay, so this is where I see myself in 10 years. Well, if you see yourself in 10 years, what do you need to have done in 5 years to get to that goal of 10 years? And then break it down all the way to tomorrow. What do you need to do tomorrow to start on that journey to be where you are in 10 years? And it's making that commitment every day to everything that you write down to get to that 10-year goal. But you have to break it down because I know sometimes one of the reasons that a lot of those goals are not achieved is something that I used to struggle with a whole lot more than I do now. Not saying that I don't still once in a while, but it's looking at the big picture and thinking, for me, I do want to lose weight, but for me, I look at the amount of weight that I would like to lose. And when I look at that and I look at it in the wrong aspect of losing weight and getting healthy, there is two different things. But if I look at that as a whole, it's like, oh my goodness, that is a lot. And it's same with goals. If you set a goal and you look at it now and you're like, oh man, there is so much that I have to do to get there. It's hard to make that commitment of it. It's hard to commit to that, to reach that because it just looks so overwhelming. And breaking that down is a key to that.
So one of the keys to what you talked about, the history of your future, yes, we are looking 10 years out. But when we do that with a coaching client, we don't ask them, where do you want to be in 10 years? That's the wrong question. The question that we have to get them to see is if you're 43 years old today, you ask the question, when you are 53, where are you? Who are you? What is it that you're doing when you're 53 years old? So you put them psychologically, you put them in that place. So for me, for example, I am 53. So when I look at it and say, okay, Kylen, you're 63 years old. What do you see? What do you feel? Where are you at? What is around you that you see in your mind's eye at 63 years old? And then I bring it back and go, okay, I'm 60 years old. I'm 58 years old, 55. I'm 54 just a year from now. And as I bring that back to where we are today, we're creating this future in real time. We're creating this future in our mind, which is what a lot of people don't realize psychologically. We're doing it all the time. We have a vision of how we see ourselves when we look in the mirror, the things we say about ourselves, the things that we see within ourselves. We're positioning ourselves for that success 10 years out, but we don't realize it. That's why it's so important that we have to look at ourselves from that perspective. And when you see yourself at a certain age, you ask yourself, who am I? What is around me? What do I see? What do I hear? What do I smell? What do I feel? And position yourself there psychologically and then hold that image. That's why one of our mentors, he has a program called Hold Your Image. And that's what it's all built around. Being able to see who you are, who you believe you are in that future, and develop that so that it's so solid in your mind that it becomes reality. It becomes a truth in your life. And that's the power of the history of your future is you see yourself at a certain time in the future. And within that time frame, you have success. What is it?
Right.
And
Yeah.
that is so, so, so powerful. And many of us that are our age, 50s, 60s, we're getting down to the point where we don't have a lot of days left. So, how do we look at that 10-year cycle and put myself out there in 10 years and be able to say, Kylen, you're 63 years old. Where are you? What have you done? What are you feeling about what you've done? How are you seeing the world? What are you hearing around you? When we think about it, our oldest grandson's going to be what, 23 years old, right? Our youngest grandson's going to
Wow.
be 14. When we look at that, it's like, oh my goodness, you know, there's a good chance that our granddaughter is going to be in college and she's going to be out doing some amazing things, right? I mean, there's so much in our life is going to be different when we are 63 years old. So what have we done there? And then you
Yeah.
make those commitments to that future, to the future that you're holding that image to. It's such a powerful play.
Yeah.
So, all right, we're into the last 10 minutes. We have anybody on Zoom that would like to jump in and share a few thoughts? David, how are
Hey,
you this morning?
I'm a little under the weather, but my testament to commitment was getting out of bed to join the call.
Yeah,
The
Oh,
alarm went off, and I can tell you I didn't really feel like getting up when I'm lying there. And then you almost lost me because the link I had didn't work, so I almost went back there. But
almost went back to
I'm
bed, huh?
I'm committed.
well,
Yeah,
thanks for your commitment. And you sound terrible, but
Yeah, I'll get better. I feel better today than yesterday, but it's kind of taken root in my head. So anyway.
oh,
Thought
yeah.
I'd
Well, you'll
make that
feel
see,
comment.
now that's commitment. We appreciate that.
you'll feel better tomorrow.
I'm sure I will.
There you go. There you go. All right. Well, I know there's several people off work today, again for Veterans Day, and talk about a commitment. Veteran is someone who's committed and committed to
Yeah.
an amazing cause, and again, we're very grateful and thankful for that. And we get to do again what we do because of that. So, well, Rebecca, as we move forward, we are committed to doing some things here. Our 3i Elite business program. We had a meeting last week where we've got some new customers coming into that. We got some new clients that are going to be joining us there. That program's been a little slow getting off the ground, but it is coming together, and it's coming together really well. So I'm excited for that, and that's going to get a really hard launch as we get into January. And they've got a lot of great things being developed for that. So,
Yep.
including some
And
speakers, one of the things that I would put out there, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but one of the things that I might challenge any of our listening audience to, if you know some really successful entrepreneurs, you know some people that have done some really amazing things in their life and their business, and you'd like to share their story, maybe it's your story. If you want to share something, get in touch with us. Let's do a little interview. Let's see if it's a good fit for a 3i Elite business, and let's set up a live call and have you join in with that group and be a part of that.
yeah. Yep. And we are committed all the time to working on adding more value to our clients and our team and just building on what we have. So, we had our training last week, and it was the first one that we've had since we made some adjustments to it. And so it
Yeah,
was got some work on it, but we are committed to making it better and
Yeah, absolutely.
making it better for everyone. So
Yeah, absolutely. It was a little rough. It was new. It was different. But it's really about expanding on that 3I lifestyle and really
yep,
what it means to bring the 3Is into your life and use them every day to grow yourself, and committing to the 3Is, which again is influence, impact, and income. When you think about that, probably our greatest part of that session was the income portion, which was really exciting to hear people think about all the different types of income that you can potentially bring into your life that we
yep,
so often forget. And there's so many different styles of income, and each one of those different ones will influence the financial income. That's the thing that's so powerful about this. We think that the financial income is always our priority. Well, that's a result. It's really the only one of the income components. The result is the financial return. The causes are all the other types of income. And that's what really was powerful about this event. And we're really looking
yep,
forward to expanding on that, because that part of the 3I life, influence, impact, and income, is it's just absolutely critical that we get that wrapped around our mind and really learn to focus on the right causes to bring the right results. And that was really exciting to see in the audience and to see with our team, and to really embrace as we went through that. And then as we move forward, we are working on one more, and I think probably our final certificate as we move forward as an organization. You know, we're certified now with John Maxwell in leadership. We are certified with Value Builder to identify the value of an organization and what are the key components that cap that organization. Direct relationship to what we've learned with John Maxwell. So that's connected. And then we're also working on with Working Genius. So that's the element of identifying, actually with DISC and with Working Genius, the identifying of your personality styles and where you fit best in a business and how you work best out in the public and how you work best when you're in your private setting with your team, with your family. There's so many different things there that tie personality and behavior all together with the work environment. And then as we're moving forward, we're bringing in also a new program that's really designed, and this is probably our final component, is really designed to help companies become very profitable and scalable. That's really what we want to do. But we have to work on the people first. We have to identify what builds teams. We identify the core components, which is all tied around the leadership element. And then you come in, you build the structure and build an organization that has scalability and profitability. And
yep,
that's really where we're at right now within the 3i Life Network. So we're really excited to be bringing these components to you. The 3i Elite Business Program is at a super reduced price right now because we're building it. We're building it as we go. So you're able to come in, be a part of our founding member group, help us build this, give us insight, give us feedback. We're going to be asking, what do you need? What do you want? What is the help that you're looking for most as you go from, zero to your first 100,000, or from zero to your first million, or maybe from a million to 10 million? What is it that you're most looking for? And those are going to be part of the elements of building the 3i Elite business.
yep,
So
yep.
we are really excited to be bringing that to our audience right now, and it's a great time right now. I truly haven't seen anything specifically in the marketplace that does that helps people grow from a million to 10 million and teaches them to put them together with the processes, the systems, the scalability components. I'm not seeing anyone who's really bringing that all together. And that's why we're doing it. That's why we're bringing it together within the 3i Life Network. So that's who we
Well,
are and that's what we do. So, Rebecca, it's 7 o'clock. You want to give us a good send off and give us some insight on what's coming up next week?
Yep, next week. Actually, we will not be on next week.
Oh,
Next
that's
week
right.
we will be out of office on Monday and hopefully to be back the next Monday. So I will send out an email on Sunday and Monday morning just to remind everybody that we will not be on next week. But when we get back in 2 weeks, we will be talking about the learn part of it. We'll do a little review of the last 2 weeks and then we will talk about learn. So we will see you in 2 weeks.
That's the plan. All right. God
All
bless
right.
everyone. Make it an amazing Veterans Day, and we'll see you here in a couple of weeks.
Goodbye.
Bye.